contestant, Stephen Patraw. You can't save them all. You can't save them all. Stephen Patraw.
Have you ever had a mentor in your work or professional life? Somebody who was there to help train you up to par. Somebody who made life or made work fun. Made it easy for you to get out of bed in the morning. Maybe do you remember some things that person said or taught you to this day? Well, my friends, fellow Toastmasters, Steve Thompson was my mentor. The year is 1987. I'm a brand new paramedic right out of school, ready for my first day on the job. I had my shiny new paramedic badge pinned to my shirt. I had my paramedic patches on each shoulder. I looked good. And I was ready to go off and save the world. Disease, trauma, they didn't stand a chance against me. I could fix anything. I was assigned to Steve, and it was his job over the next few months to train me up to par, to make me competent. A good competent beginner, we used to call him. Steve was a god to me. He had been a paramedic forever, all of 3 years. It doesn't seem like a lot now, but at the time, I was sure there was nothing he hadn't seen and no situation he couldn't handle. Over those next few months, he taught me all the important things a new paramedic should know. How to clean the ambulance with just a minimal amount of effort. How to do your paperwork so it's lawyer-proof, so you don't get sued. Also, where the best places to go for lunch are. Okay, he also taught me about the really important stuff. How to take care of families and the needs of our patients. We ran a lot of calls together. Some serious, most not. Some we did nothing more than give somebody a ride to the hospital that had no other way to get there. Over that time, as the more serious the call, the better our interaction became. It was to the point now where we didn't even have to talk. We knew exactly what each other was thinking, and we did the best job we could for our patients. I had become a good beginner. Now, on one of our last few shifts together, before Steve was kicking me loose to send me off to my own shift, it happened. We got the call. The 9 Delta 3, child not breathing, CPR in progress. Something goes through your head as a paramedic when you get that call. Your hands get a little sweaty. You get a knot in your stomach the size of a basketball. For me, I thought of my own children at home. You tend to push on the gas just a little bit harder. Shave every last possible second you can. We arrived at one of these in-home daycare centers. You guys are all familiar with them. It's one of these private homes that have been turned into a daycare facility. They had put a crib in a closet so a child could sleep uninterrupted. Not a bad idea. Probably not such a good idea to put your dry cleaning in there that you picked up that day with a dry cleaning bag on it. Little Kayla had been put down for a nap about an hour before. She woke up, probably not making much of a sound, and saw the shiny little thing above her crib and thought, oh, this might be something fun to play with. You can imagine what happened. When I first saw Kayla, there was no life with her. Steve and I, we worked better than we ever had. Faster. We were so fast, getting her the drugs her heart desperately needed to survive. We calculated drugs based on her weight, tubes based on her small little frame, defibrillation as fast as we could get it on. We were a well-tuned machine. We hummed right along. The hospital was 4.8 miles away. Steve made it there in 6 minutes in rush hour traffic, while I attended a little Kayla in the back of the ambulance. I still remember looking into her eyes, thinking, what else can I do? What am I missing? I remember intently looking at the heart monitor, wishing for just one beat. Just one beat. I kept saying, please, just one beat. To know that what I was doing was correct. What I was doing was right. Validation for myself. That beat never came. We arrived at the hospital, and doctors and nurses took over what Steve and I had started. They worked feverishly. 30 minutes after we arrived, they pronounced little Kayla dead. I will never forget the grief-stricken horror in those parents' eyes as they went in to say goodbye to their daughter one final time. I had to sit down. My feet had gotten weak. When the stakes were the highest, when someone needed me the most, I had failed. The rest of that shift was somewhat different. I was quiet. Not our usual joking, laughing selves. Steve noticed that I was having a tough time with this and put his hand on my shoulder at the end of the shift and said, "Don't worry, Steve. You can't save them all." You can't save them all? It's not what I was taught in school. On my way home that day, I kept thinking of that. You can't save them all. You can't save them all. Then it dawned on me. Was I really so naive to think that I could save them all? I began to realize that I was nothing more than a tool that a higher power uses to get somebody to the end point of their destiny. Through the last 26 years I've been a paramedic, I've run thousands of calls. Some serious, most not so much. Very few Kaylas, thank the good Lord. And during that whole time, that little statement, "You can't save them all," is giving me comfort. What happened to Steve, you ask? As chances would have it, I ran across him just a few months ago. It was nice to see him. We reminisced, told jokes, thought about little Kayla. She'd be a 27 now by our recollection. What would she become if she'd had the chance? Maybe a mother herself. I reminded Steve of what he had told me that day. Those little words, "You can't save them all." He had no idea, didn't even remember. We laughed about it, and as I turned to leave, I looked back and said, "Would it be okay if I wish I could have saved just one more relative?"